The Calgary Police Service has charged a man in relation to an incident involving an unmanned aerial vehicle, also known as a drone or UAV, that occurred near Calgary International Airport. At approximately 6:45 p.m. on Sunday, January the 17th, 2016, police observed a man in a public park located near to 2616 16th Street Northeast flying a UAV. The UAV was seen flying under the flight path of a Calgary International Airport runway. Police then observed the man leaving the park and entering his vehicle. Before he could drive away, police conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle and arrested him for flying the UAV. Syed Gohar Haider SHAH, 25, of Calgary, is charged with one count of interfering with a navigation facility to endanger the safety of aircraft, contrary to the criminal code. He is scheduled to appear before court on Thursday, January the 18th, 2016. This is believed to be the first charge of its kind in Calgary related to the illegal use of a UAV. When UAVs are flown in an unsafe manner, they can endanger lives, aircraft, and property. It is the responsibility of the pilot to ensure that they are aware of any restrictions on these devices. I would encourage anyone who observes a UAV being flown in an unsafe manner to contact the Calgary Police Service by calling 911 if there is an offence in progress, or on the non-emergency line at 403-266-1234. So the spelling of Mr. Shah's name: first name Syed, separate name Gohar, next name Hiader, and surname Shah. Questions, everybody?
So, was it clear to you that this person was intentionally trying to endanger aircraft?
I'm not going to speculate on the intentions of the pilot. I wasn't there. This incident was found by two officers on patrol, and that is something that will come out in court. We have to bear in mind that the operation of UAVs has to be done safely, and once you start flying under the flight path for Calgary International Airport, you're going to start interfering with planes, and that's going to cause a major incident.
And you know, this is the question people are going to want asked, answered. Due to this discussing name, is this any notion that this is a terrorist act or
No,
anything like that?
it's my understanding that all the relevant checks have been made, and there's nothing to indicate that this is anything like that.
So this is the first of its kind in Calgary.
That's correct.
Is this becoming, I guess, more and more of an issue in other jurisdictions that is popping up?
So what we're finding now is that UAVs, the price of these things are coming down. You can get them over the shelf in model stores and what have you, and they're fairly easy to fly. As they become cheaper, they become more accessible to more people. More people can want to fly these things. Certainly in Calgary, like we've already indicated, this is the first charge in Calgary. I am aware that there have been charges in Ontario, in Vancouver. Now, whether or not those are against the criminal code or local legislation, I don't know. But certainly in this instance, this is the first time in Calgary that we have charged anybody under the criminal code for operating a UAV.
In a lot of places in the States near the airport, they have those digital barriers where if a drone or something like that gets a certain amount, whoever's operating it loses control. Is there anything like that in the airport?
Not that I'm aware of. The rules in regards to the airport are easily found on the Transport Canada website. It's an offence to fly within 5 nautical miles of Calgary Airport, which is approximately 9 kilometres. To give you an idea, for Calgary, that's roughly 50 Avenue South. So anybody operating a UAV north of 50 Avenue South potentially is going to be committing an offence of which they could be arrested.
And I guess, so from what we're gathered from this gentleman who was flying it, he was in a park, he was kind of just having fun, and he happened to go into the airspace.
That would seem to be the indication. Yeah. Well, he was well within the airspace for Calgary International Airport. I would like to point out that there is an offence under the Parks bylaw that you can't operate a remote-controlled aircraft in a park in Calgary. There's also offences against a street bylaw of operating a remote-controlled aircraft next to a road. So if you want to operate your aircraft anywhere in Calgary, there's virtually nowhere where you can do that. It's as simple as that. Anybody who's got one of these things for Christmas, birthdays, whatever it may be, or just as a hobby, I'd really encourage them to go to two websites. First off is Transport Canada, which provide all the restrictions in regards to the use of UAVs, and the Model Aeronautics Association of Canada, MAAC.ca. There's two clubs, as far as I'm aware, within easy driving distance from Calgary. They have their own fields, they have all the insurance that's required, and you can operate your device there quite safely.
Sergeant, can you give us, and I apologize if I
No problem.
missed this earlier, can you explain kind of the proximity between the drone and the actual flight, like just how close it was? Or
Yeah.
Any idea there?
There's nothing that I've been advised to that there was actually a wave off by aircraft or anything like that. The officer who spotted this drone did an awesome job. He really did, and potentially stopped a serious collision happening between the UAV and an aircraft. The device that this chap was flying has the capability of going up to 500 feet. At this particular location, which is directly in line with the runway, planes are coming in at 200 feet. So the potential for catastrophe was there quite clearly.
So the plane was on its descent?
Again, I don't know if a plane had to be waved off or anything like that. But then again, planes are coming in at a fairly regular occurrence. Whether or not the plane being in the flight path at this particular the UAV on the flight path at this particular time caused an aircraft to be waved off, I don't know, but the potential was there.
And so essentially it was this officer who essentially just kind of spotted it and just kind of acted right away and
Absolutely.
the vehicle.
Yes. Potentially the guy could have been there when the plane was coming down had the officer not intervened. So.
Any idea how long this guy was operating?
Well, the flight time for a lot of the UAVs is fairly limited. Generally speaking, we're looking anywhere between the 15 and 20 minute range. My understanding is that as the officer approached Mr. Shah, he landed and tried to leave before we stopped him.
So what kind of aircraft was coming in?
I don't know.
Do you know what Mr. Shah does for a living?
I can't comment on that.
What exact kind of UAV is this? What does it look like?
So the UAV in question in this particular incident is what's called a quadcopter. So it's like a helicopter, but it is, there's propellers on each of the four corners of the craft. The rough size, I believe, is about 60 centimeters in diameter. So it's not a particularly big craft. But that said, something like that getting sucked into the engine of a plane could cause catastrophic damage to the plane, and it's going to land quicker than is intended.
Sergeant?
Yes.
What's the likelihood that there will be a permanent police presence at the airport specifically to monitor drones?
I can't comment on that. I think the guys who operate around the airport, there's going to be a bit more of an awareness campaign within the service. My unit specifically are the only unit within CPS that do fly UAVs. We do have two devices that we fly. So we're technically the experts on these things for the service. And we'll be able to there to provide advice to constables who do find these things flying anywhere near the airport. We do have an airport unit of police officers, obviously, who will be looking out for these things. I don't think it's going to become pandemic by any stretch of the imagination. It's just more of an awareness. If you're going to fly these things, you as the pilot are responsible for the safe operation of that aircraft. It's no different than a pilot operating a commercial plane. You're responsible for its safety, and people need to be aware of that.